Hey everybody, this is Ovidius, one of the Minecrafters. I want to take a couple minutes of your time today to show you a cool new addition to the most recent build of Minecraft, 0.6.1. And some of you may have already played with this a little bit, but I've been enjoying messing around with it a little bit on our multiplayer server, and so I thought I'd show you some of the details. It's called DimensionalDoors. And it's a pretty neat addition. It really actually has some functional use even on your multiplayer server or your single player server, and I'll show you kind of the deal with this. There's three things that I wanted to go through first. These three items here are integral to the addition here. This top one is one of the most important additions to the mod. It's the dimensional door. It's the door you're probably going to use the most, and we'll go through how each of these things works. The next one is the warp door, and then the last one is the trans-dimensional trapdoor. The way the dimensional doors work, let me just switch this back to Dawn here. The way the dimensional door add-on works is that when you go into one of these dimensional doors, and I'll show you that in 1 second, you're going to go into what's called a pocket dimension. When you go into a pocket dimension, and I'm going to show you one really quick here, we'll just go into a blank one. You zip into this pocket dimension, and basically it's a completely dark, void place. Okay, and you see the door that we came in. If you wanted to, you could go back through there. When you come into one of these pocket dimensions, it's basically a blank slate. You could do whatever you want. You could lay ground here. You could build walls. If I wanted to build walls here, so you could pretty much do whatever you want here. And I'll go through some of the real benefits to this in a minute, but one thing you need to keep in mind is that when you go into a pocket dimension, one of these new pocket dimensions, you can continue to go down. So if you think of the overworld as level 0, for example, when you go into a pocket dimension, you go down one level. Okay. As you go down levels, and let's see here, we can go down another level here. You can add another pocket dimension, and each dimensional door, if it's not linked to the level above it, will take you down another level into another pocket dimension. So we go down into another pocket dimension. Okay, same thing here. It's another blank world, and I'm going to add another door here. Okay, and as I said, each dimensional door that is not linked to the level above it will take you down one more level. So essentially dimensional doors go down one level, so now we're on level, let's call -3, as it were. If overworld is 0, we've just gone down 3 levels. When they were doing the testing for this add-on, I had read that there were some difficulties if they got really far down, like 8, 9, 10 pocket dimensions, that it would become fairly unstable and anything could happen. You could have real problems. I've been down in both single player and multiplayer. I've been down about 8 or 9 dimensions, and I have not had any problems. I don't know if that's still an issue or if that's something that they've resolved, but just keep that in the back of your mind that if you try to go really far down, there is a potential that maybe you'll have a problem here. Okay, so let's go back up to where we started. Okay, so this is back into our first pocket dimension level here. Neat thing about the pocket dimensions is that you can teleport power into here, build craft power, so you can, if you have an energy core like you've seen in some of our other tutorials, you can use a phased conductive pipe and teleport power in here. So if you wanted to build some sort of a machine, ender chests, all that stuff do go into the pocket dimensions, and so you can build machines in here and power them from the overworld without too much of a problem. Alright, so let's go back in here. So that's the dimensional door. Basically, it'll take you down one level into the first pocket dimension, and then each subsequent layer after that. Okay, so we'll go into this one that I already set up, and this is just a really sort of quick thing that I put together. It's fairly similar to the one I have on our multiplayer server. And in our multiplayer server, I have doors that if I go through them, they'll go to other places, and we'll discuss that in a second. But that's basically the dimensional door. It takes you down into a pocket dimension, and you can go farther and farther down the rabbit hole as you see fit. The other door, the next door that we have to talk about, is the warp door. Okay, and the warp door These are very easy to make. If you look, and I'll show you guys when we go back up to the overworld, but the dimensional door is essentially 2 iron doors with an ender pearl in between, and then a warp door is 2 wooden doors with an ender pearl in between. Okay, so where a dimensional door takes you down 1 pocket dimension, and then each subsequent door will take you farther and farther down, the warp door will do the opposite. It will take you up one pocket dimension. Okay, so in this case, we're going to go through this door, and it's going to take us back to the overworld because that's where we were. We were only 1 level down. Now, if we had gone down 5 pocket dimensions, and then I used one of those wooden warp doors, it would take us back up to the 4th level. Okay, so it always goes up 1 level. So let's go back here for a second. Alright, so let's go down a couple more levels here just so I can show you the last door that's available for use. Alright, so this is a new pocket dimension here, so let's just make ourselves. So now we're down level 2. I'm gonna go out here. We'll go down level 3. Okay, and we'll go down 1 more just for kicks. So we're going to level 4. Now, as I said, now we're on level 4. If I dropped a warp door here, it would take us back up to level 3. But as you're adventuring and you find yourself maybe going through pocket dimensions for your own purposes, or there are unstable doors throughout the world now that have been added to the game, and there's a lot of different dungeons and stuff like that that you'll find that you can go into. They're pretty neat. I've only found a couple, but you know, you could actually find some treasure and some chests that are out there with some unique stuff in them. But as you're adventuring, or if you're going through your pocket dimensions and you find yourself in a bit of trouble, you get lost, you're not sure where to go for whatever reason, this last door here, the trans-dimensional trap door, is basically sort of like a get out of jail free card. Okay, you just place it down, and no matter how many layers down you are, no matter how many pocket dimensions down you've gone, if you open this trans-dimensional trap door and you go through it, it shoots you right back up to the surface. Alright, so it's kind of like an emergency escape, if you will, where you can just get right out of trouble and it'll shoot you back up. You'll notice that it's gone, that we came back out this first dimensional door here, so that trans-dimensional trap door is gone, and we'd have to use another one if we wanted to get out of trouble again. Just really quick, as I have mentioned, and I see that I am missing my let's see here. Okay, so if we want to make a dimensional door, it's 2 iron doors with an ender pearl in between. Warp door is 2 wooden doors with a ender pearl in between, and then the last thing is a trans-dimensional trap door, is 2 trap doors with an ender pearl in between. You'll notice that the configuration with the trap doors is a little bit different from the regular doors. So that's basically the dimensional doors. I will show you in a minute what I think is probably the most useful functionality with these dimensional doors. You know, you might say, well, what's the point of going into the pocket dimensions? And I'll show you what I have found to be the most useful. These next 3 items are where that comes into play. We have the Rift signature. It's a very important item that you can use is with this dimensional door add-on. You have the Rift remover and then the Rift blade. Okay, so how do we make these items? A Rift blade, well, let's start over here. The Rift signature is 4 iron bars, or 4 iron ingots with an ender pearl in the middle. And then we have the Rift remover, which is 4 gold ingots with a ender pearl in the middle. And then finally we have the Rift blade, which is a Rift remover at the bottom with 2 ender pearls up above it. Okay, pretty straightforward, very easy to make. For those of you who do not know how to make ender pearls, they're really easy to make. If you have a minium stone, let me get a minium stone here and I'll show you. Let me grab one of these. Okay, and then let's grab some iron ingots. Alright, so if you go into your project table or whatever, this is basically how you can make ender pearls. Okay, so there's 16 ender pearls. It's very easy with the minium stone. You can make as many ender pearls as you want. So we have these three new items. The Riff signature is probably the most important. And what that does is it allows you to link a location in a pocket dimension to a location that's in the overworld. So let's go back into our pocket dimension here. And let's take this little, so see I got this ready for a door, okay? Walk through it, okay, you can see everything from behind. The other thing I should show you is that if you are looking at, you can see this this rift here from the front when you open the door. If you walk behind it, it's not there, okay, and that's correct. That's how it's supposed to be. That shows you the orientation of the door and the right way to walk in. But that rift you can only see from the front, and I did not mean to go in there. Let me go back through here because that's the last thing I want to show you guys. So anyway, so if I want to, let's say I have a quarry that's somewhere, okay, and I want to be able to walk into my pocket dimension and walk through this door. All I do is I click on in the pocket dimension, I click on where I want a dimensional door to go. That's going to link to another place in the overworld, and you'll see it said Riff signature stored, and now my Riff signature is glowing. And that means it has a signature that's been stored in that Riff signature. Okay, so then we come out here back to the overworld and we go to the location that we want. Let's go way over here. So we go over here, and this is where we want to be able to teleport to, as it were. And I'm going to click this, and now I've created a rift. Okay. Now you definitely do not want to leave a lot of these rifts hanging out in the world with no doors associated with them, because the more rifts you have, the more you're going to be able to lag up your server, and it does create problems in the long run. So all we do now that we have a rift is we place under the block underneath the rift, we're going to place a dimensional door. Okay, you see that the rift kind of gets absorbed by the door. Again, you can't see the portal unless you're in front of the door. Okay, we walk in here, and we are going to come out right where that door was. Okay, let's see here. That's going to drive me nuts. Do I have any obsidian? Okay. Now I'm going to show you the functionality of one other item before we get to it. The Rift Blade, we're going to get to this in a minute, but the Rift Blade, one of the functionalities is you can use it to change the orientation of a door. Okay, so if it's facing the wrong direction, and you have your Rift Blade equipped, all you do is right click on it and it'll turn it around. Okay, so now if I say, oh, you know what, I want to get from my home base to another location really quickly, I just walk into my pocket dimension and walk out, and voila, I'm way over here again. Okay, so that's one really nice feature of the dimensional doors, is that instead of having to build teleporters, which I don't know, perhaps you've done in the past, and you have to supply a lot of EU to them, and there are range limitations, you can have these these dimensional doors that'll take you wherever you want. There doesn't seem to be any range limit, so if you see that town 240 meters or whatever the M stands for away, I'm going to go in my pocket dimension, and this first door here is my door to the town, and you'll see that we are instantly those 240 meters away from where we started. On our multiplayer server, I have some quarries that are about 3,000 meters from my main base, and I walk into my pocket dimension in my base, and I walk through the door here, and I'm immediately at my quarries 3,000 meters away with no issue at all. So it's a really great feature, and it really allows you to create sort of like a transportation nexus in your base or wherever you want to go. All right, you could put a little wall around it if you wanted to, make it all fancy, however you want to do it. Okay. So that's the Rift signature. It allows you to link a place in a pocket dimension to a place in the overworld so that you can pretty much travel instantaneously. Now let's say that you have a dimensional door and you have to destroy it for some reason. Alright, you destroy it, and now you have a rift here. And as I mentioned, you can't walk through the rift because it's not linked to a door. You need to link it to a door. If I place a door down, then I would be able to walk through that door. But right now, a rift by itself doesn't do anything. Okay. But as I said, it's not a good idea to have all these rifts floating all over, and if I put another rift over here, it would expand and it would start eating the ground up underneath it. It's just not a good idea. So enter the rift remover. All you do is you equip your rift remover here, and you right click on a rift that you want to eliminate, and you see that white stuff kind of start taking over and it's gone. Alright, the rift remover does take durability damage, so you want to make sure that you have a couple on hand if you're going to create a lot of rifts that you're going to have to remove. And once that rift is gone, you cannot go back into that pocket dimension. It's not like it's stored in your rift remover and you could use it again. It's gone. So don't remove a rift that you think you're going to need in the future, but it is a good thing to do to get rid of those rifts if you know you're not going to need them again. So you have your dimensional door, which takes you down one level into a pocket dimension. You have a warp door that will take you up one level in a pocket dimension, and then you have your transdimensional trapdoor, which is your escape chute, shoots you right back up to the overworld. The next thing, we've already covered the rift signature, which allows you to link a place in the pocket dimension to the overworld. The rift remover allows you to get rid of a rift that you're not going to need anymore. And then the rift blade, we've already covered one facet of that. Okay, so as I mentioned, let's just destroy this here. If I wanted to turn or reorient this door, I can do so. Alright, I can turn it whichever way I want by right clicking on a dimensional or a warp door or whatever. Another option that you have is if you do have, let's see here, where's one of my doors? Let's go over here. Well, if you do have a door and you destroy it and you have a rift there, one option you have, and I'm not sure exactly why you would always want to use this, but rather than removing it, if you right click on it, that rift gets stored in your rift blade, and then if you right click again, unfortunately it doesn't show it, but there is a rift there now, or like a portal. It's sort of like a temporary portal, so if you walk through it, I don't know why it doesn't show you, but you will go into a pocket dimension, and if you turn around you see that there's just a rift here. If you right click on that and walk through it, then you can go back through to where you just left. Like I said, and the rift appears again. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what the benefit would be of that, but I'm sure that there is one, so so be aware of that. Now I just removed the rift with the remover, so it's no longer going to be useful. And then the third function of the rift blade is it gives you sort of like a little bit of a teleport ability, like an Enderman, when you attack your enemies. So rather than chasing down a goat or a pig or something like that, what you can do is if you click both your left and your right click buttons at the same time while you're targeting an enemy, is you basically will just keep teleporting to your enemies, so you don't have to track them down constantly. So I can jump all the way across ground. Makes it a little bit easier if you have good aim to be able to kill your enemies. Alright. So those are the three abilities, and I hate slimes. For some reason on our multiplayer server I decided to build my base in a swamp, and so I have tons of those slimes all over the place all the time. So those are the 6 items that we've covered. It's pretty much all that is involved for the most part in the dimensional doors. It's a great add-on. Like I said, I think the best functionality is that you can basically have a transportation nexus that you can go wherever you want, and if you want to play around with something and you don't want to blow something up in your main base, you can come in here and play with a nuclear reactor or something and build it in here first if you want to spend all that time and not completely destroy your base. If it blows up in here, it's no big deal. The last thing is, maybe I'll try this in our multiplayer server to punish the chief for all of his puns. Is we could always set up a portal here and walk him out into really high in the air. I think that would be a great way to sometimes punish certain people in our boardrooms, like the chief, who's always killing us with those puns. So that's always an option too. I saw that Captain Jack had his world's highest cactus, a little tallest cactus, in one of his last tutorials, and here we can have a little skydive for the chief when he punishes us with those awful puns. So that is the dimensional doors. Play around with it. It's great. I know we did have a little bit of an issue, and we're still working it out on our multiplayer server. When we set up dimensional doors, we had a bunch of them linked together. We had a transportation nexus and everything, and then all of a sudden one day I went into it and I fell through the world, and I haven't been able to get back in since. So we're still working out some of those issues. I'm not sure if it's a server issue or if it's an issue with the with the mod itself, but definitely play around with it, and it's definitely helpful. So hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial on the new dimensional doors. And if you have any questions, you can post them on our website, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel for the Minecrafters. And I hope you guys all stay poised.